Imagine you can reverse to the past. A time before the electric traffic light and a global positioning system. A time when vehicular car slaughter was as common as a flat tire. You are about to relive some of history's most harrowing disasters and greatest accomplishments. We, at Pixar Animation Studios, take you back in time to the beginning of the ongoing race. The most important race. The race of cars. This is Earth, Tesla Firma, a speck on the vast windshield of the galaxy. But, over 3 billion years ago, the drive for life began. Prokaryotic cells began to show early signs of drifting as a form of survival. Watch as our ancestor steers through this primordial highway. An impressive swerve. However, it wouldn't be until the great Toyota Camry explosion that early vehicles would evolve a chassis and outer shells for protection against large sweepers and the carnivorous Anomalocaris, a vicious arthropod. But aquatic collisions cause very little impact. Perhaps our amphibious ancestors will face a much greater chance of crashing on dry land. Of course, they did. And for millions of years, the Carboniferous period was swamped with pileups and road rage, like never before, the remains of which eventually recycling into modern-day fuel. Much like our prehistoric friends, it seems even the continents, Larasa and Gondwana land, are inclined to drive recklessly. The dramatic shift in climate and gasoline brands pushed early vehicles to the brink of survival, manufacturing the hulking behemoths known as the Daimler-saws. But all great collisions in that epoch were shadowed by the largest collision known to car kind. But even without a GPS, life finds a way. Our ancestors stalled and sped through the Eocene to the Limousin, and over millions of years of branding and rebranding, became the Autosapien, the first smart car, able to communicate through an early form of honking, utilizing its environment to create oil, hunting combines and tractors for fuel, and above all, inventing the road. Order was finally brought to the great race once again. And with order in the lead, chaos cannot be far behind. Alexander the Grand Tourer, general of the Macedonian Empire, began his campaign across the Portian Empire with tremendous horsepower. His oil-thirsty convoy of Land Rovers resulted in the wreckage of thousands of vehicles from the all-Turanian coast to the Maudian Empire, a culture that has mastered another form of vehicular collision. In the west, the Republic of Rome thrives in its vast network of roads and expansive tracts of land. But before the usage of the road rules of Jesus Chrysler and Roman Catholicism, Rome lived under Julius Caesar. Formerly a third of the Triumvirate, he became the first and most ruthless dictator, leading Rome with an iron rim. But all highways lead to Rome, and Sedan was at the intersection of her betrayal. The dictator was surrounded and stabbed 23 times, in the tires. Then senators crashed into him another 23 times, assassinating him. Arguably the most historically prominent wreck of all time. Reckless driving persisted in Rome until the Carbarians struck the final blow of road rage. And thus the Kingdom of Roads is riddled with potholes. This cycle of violence continues centuries later by the merciless hit and run of the Vikings, mirrored by the vicious ransack of Eurasia by Genghis Khan. In a desperate attempt to reignite the engine of Rome, the Holy Roman Empire made its presence known and declared 9 crusades to take back the Holy Land against the armies of Islam Begin. While the carnage of Jerusalem met no finish line, the Spanish Inquisition left tragic burnouts across all of Iberia. But not as tragic as the event to come. The Subarubonic Plague. It covered millions in a sickening black rust until half of Europe was laid to waste. A reminder that no matter your RPM, life always comes at you faster. Things are just about to get revved up with the Age of War. Please join us for the second half of our series when we return. In The Worst Car Collisions in History.